All right, Show Me the Money, brought to you by Pearl River Resort, Timeout Sports Lounge inside the Golden Moon. We were there Wednesday. We'll be there every week throughout football season. Sportsbook is amazing. Full bar, food, amazing leather chairs, TVs everywhere. And award-winning Dancing Rabbit Golf Club, top 100 course, named many a times over the last 24 years. And we're going to have several big parties there throughout football season. Bet 50, play 40, by the way, at the Sportsbook all the way through March Madness. Bet 50 at the Sportsbook, play award-winning Dancing Rabbit Golf Club for $40. We're ESPN 105.9 The Zone. We are the Out of Bounds Show. I'm your host, Bo Bounds. This segment's brought to you by an ice-cold Michelob Ultra. And we welcome in Jack Ross, FatJackSports.com, handicapper, and we're excited to have him on. Jack Ross, good morning. How you doing, buddy?
Good morning, Bo. How are you? Yeah, and by the way, love Jackson, Mississippi. I've been there a number of times and love the people down there. And you can bet on sports, which is even better,
yes.
Which is what I do. So I love betting on sports, and that's been my business for the last 27 years. And excited about week one. I hope everybody out there got off to a good start.
Yeah, well, I thought last night was a blast, and I can't wait for we actually have good games this weekend. Now, real quick before we start jumping into the games, how did you get into the business?
It's so funny. It's like a lot of things. It kind of picks you. I bet high in Oklahoma, which at the time, just like Mississippi, had no sports gambling. I would actually take junkets to Biloxi to go to their casinos down there that were actually on the river, where in the floodplain you walked over a bridge and stuff. But no sports gambling at the time. But I got to where a really big reputation around the Midwest of basically running bookies out of business. And as I'm playing golf, I'm on the phone screaming at the bookies to try to get paid. And more importantly, the guys that I play with are trying to find winners, and they're trying to figure who I like. In that group of golf, this country club I played at were guys that owned radio stations in the Midwest. And they said, we have these guys come on our station. Actually, one of them was from Mississippi, actually. They said, come on our station. They promised the moon. They had the inside lock of the decade and called this free number, this 900 number, whatever. And our listeners call and they scream at us because these guys are liars and they don't actually win. They said, Jack, we think you can actually win. Well, you do win. We all come on the air. You can go on with a couple of our hosts and you can just talk to people about actually setting money management and realistic expectations. And there is no lock of the millennium. All those type of things that you hear from people that are just salesmen, they found that attractive. And this is a little, as I said, 27 years ago. And I thought at the time, well, heck, I'll get to go on the radio. Let's try it, see what happens. Why not? I'll try not to cuss on the air. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
So I went on, and things went 27 years later. I'm now the guy that ESPN National, I'm their guy. ESPN, I do New York, Chicago, L.A., I have a syndicated TV show called Beat the Odds that runs around the country, that tapes out of Las Vegas. I'm on in over 35 markets. And so the business has grown as sports gambling has grown, but my business has what I do stayed the same. Everybody gets exactly the same picks. Those plays are posted and documented on the website under the results tab. You don't have to guess whether you're getting the best plays. I don't care how much you're betting the game. I care about you getting the best plays because I want you to turn into a winning sports gambler. And when we come on the air each week, Bo, we're going to talk specifically about who I had, what the record was. Last night, I had under the total in the Colorado game. We caught it early enough that it ended up being a push. A lot of people got it as a win. Some got it as a loss, but it ended up being a push. And then I had extra plays that were lower-rated plays. They went 2-1. Had Missouri over the total was a loser, but had winners on North Dakota State plus the points, and then also under the Buffalo game. All those are posted. And so every week we'll be able to discuss in detail about the games that everybody's getting and that I'm personally playing. When you win, I win. When you lose, I lose.
FatJackSports.com. Jack Ross on the Farm Bureau Insurance Guest Line. The show is brought to you by the Golden Moon Casino Sportsbook and Lounge. Hey, look, sports betting is a big part of our business. I love it. We're going to have fun with it, and we're glad you're with us. Now, do you want me to I've got a couple of the marquee games. I'm sure you've got some games that are off the beaten path, which is fine. But I wanted to start with a couple of the marquee games this weekend, if you're good with that.
Yeah, Bo, I want you to, whatever your listeners are interested in, that's where we should start. Let's start with what people are interested in, and if people want, information. I've done the work. So even if I'm not going to release LSU and USC, I know what I think I would do. I'm going to give the best information. By the way, I still may release that game, but we'll talk about that. We'll talk about anything you want to get people on the right side. If you're not going to sign up, I still want you to win. So hopefully the free picks here on the air will get you on the right side of a lot of these games. Which one jumps out at you?
All right, let's go Clemson, Georgia, in Atlanta. I don't think Clemson covers. How do you see it?
Yeah, it's funny. I'm bullish on Clemson as a season, especially after what I saw with Florida State overseas. And I actually gave Clemson out to every client preseason to win the national championship. Now, I do not and did not think they're going to win the national title. I do love the value at 65-1. If they make the top 12 in the tournament, I can hedge against them once we get into the tournament. And so I do think they're going to win the ACC, and I thought that before last week, Florida State. I like what Dabo Swinney does. He's good against top 10 teams overall, third best about active coaches. He's 18-13 against active coaches, against ranked teams. Also, they took no players in the transfer portal. We forget that Dabo Swinney is stubborn. That thing is one way with him. Other than the armed forces, he's the only guy that builds culture, builds climate, gets his athletes to be better each and every year. With all that being said, you can go broke betting against Georgia if they're not a 21-point favorite or more. If they are under a 21-point favorite since 2017, Georgia's 40-16 against the spread. So we have seen exactly this come up a number of times in the last 4 or 5 years, basically since Kirby Smart's been on this run, where they're under a 3-touchdown favorite. And you think, you know what? Vegas probably knows something. The line setters know what they're doing. I should play the underdog. And Georgia outperforms the market more times than not at the tune of 40-16 against the spread. Carson Beck is back. They have the best athletes on the play. Until further notice, fading Georgia as a 21-point favorite or less, not a good idea. Give me the Bulldogs.
FatJackSports.com. Jack Ross on the Out of Bounds Show. All right, another big game tomorrow night. Notre Dame at Texas A&M. I don't know what to do with this one.
Yeah, it's fun, and that's kind of the thing, Bo. In week one of college football, know the product you're betting on. With all the changes, with all the transfer portal action and NIL and all that stuff, don't go crazy. You're trying to build momentum, find 3 or 4 spots, because honestly, the line setters don't know either. We're all on the same page as it starts the year. So find a few good spots. That's what I'm able to do. This one, good news for most people around the country, is that either Notre Dame or Texas A&M are going to be 0-1 after Saturday. And that makes a lot of people happy. If you're a fan of about anybody else, you're excited about the Irish or Texas A&M being 0-1. A&M is the team to watch, especially in the SEC, because of the way they've approached this NIL deal. They do what I do with my daughter when she starts complaining. Just throw money at it and hope it goes away. Hopefully shopping will fix it. Texas A&M has done exactly that. They've gone out, they've thrown millions and millions of dollars in NIL. If they can assess talent, they're going to be better. Jimbo Fisher was absolutely toxic to what was going on there, so the coaching change will absolutely help. I think these two teams are evenly matched. It'll be the team to make the least amount of mistakes. Look for a lot of running the ball first. Notre Dame has only 3 offensive line starters back. It's hard to gel offensive line this early in the year. We saw that out of Colorado again last night. So look for running the ball, conservative game plan on both these teams. Under the total is the best play.
Oh, under the total. Jack Ross on the Out of Bounds Show, Fat Jack Sports. This is ESPN 105.9 The Zone. Okay, Miami at Florida. Both of these coaches need to get off to a good start. Napier's schedule is absolutely brutal. I'm not sold on Cristobal as a head coach, coaching-wise, but he's a phenomenal recruiter. You like the Gators or Miami?
So the odds on NCAA coach to be fired first, you can bet on this in certain markets. Napier is first. He's the favorite. And third is Cristobal. And translation is whoever loses this game is, if they thought that the seat was hot before, they are not going to survive the year most likely if whoever loses this game. You've got some pretty good trends with ranked teams going on the road against unranked teams in the first game of the year. Since 2005, so basically the last 20 years, top 25 road teams versus non-ranked teams, they're only 29, 40, and 3 against the spread. That's 42%. Translation, most of the time early, unranked teams at home in week one outperform the market versus what the general public thinks is going to come in and do. Florida's an anomaly this year. You know, they're only a 2.5-point favorite. This is that definition of it looks too good to be true. It probably is. By the way, the other game this week that's in exactly this trend is the West Virginia Penn State game. Penn State going on the road to West Virginia, ranked against unranked. So be careful about playing the favorites in those spots. Florida, their win total for the year is only 4.5. That's the lowest in the last 20 years, but they're only 2.5-point underdog here at home. That is a little bit of a siren should be going off. If you're one of those, you know what, I think Florida's going to be bad, schedule's brutal. All those things are correct, but there's a reason why they're less than a field goal underdog at home against a ranked opponent that, as you said, Cristobal is a very, very good recruiter. So very, very cautious. I would not play Miami by any stretch. I like Florida in the game. I do think they win at home. That schedule has not had anything to do with how had they done this far. They're at home. They're a desperate team. Look for Florida to win straight up.
All right, FatJackSports.com. Tell us what's going on. What can you offer our listeners? What's going on the site this weekend?
Bo, you're going to see what you see is what you get with me. All right, if we have a bad week, we will talk exactly about that. I've been doing this 27 years. I am the most open and honest guy in this business you're going to find as far as talking about the wins, talking about the losses. Everything is posted. So when you sign up at FatJackSports.com, the price you pay is only determined by how long you sign up. So you sign up for the weekend, it costs you more for the exact same picks than if you sign up for the entire year. Add basketball now, it saves you even more. Every game you get will come email, text. You don't have to call and talk to anybody, or through a personal portal on the website. Those exact games will then be posted and documented under the results tab, so you're able to see you're only getting the best plays every single week. And by the way, those plays have won money for my clients now 26 of 27 years. Go to FatJackSports.com, see what consistent winning plays sent to your cell phone can do for you, and this year make money betting the games against the spread.
Do you have a game off the beating path that you want to drop on us?
There's a bunch of them that are off the beaten path, but in college football, if you're trying to make money going deep into the carb with some of these horrible teams, be very, very careful. I liked North Dakota State last night against Colorado. I like South Dakota against Oklahoma State for exactly the same reasons. There's a ton of people driving around Mississippi right now who watch high school football, and they know these type of players. They're 6 foot. They needed to be 6'2". They run a 4.7. They needed to run a 4.5. But when you snap the ball, they will knock your head off. They are football players. They'll run through a brick wall for you, and they're going to show up in Stillwater pissed off and have a chip on their shoulder. I like those athletes against these coaches that don't care about covering numbers, which is exactly what Mike Gundy is. So not a great game to watch necessarily, but it's similar to last night with North Dakota State. Look for a game effort out of South Dakota as they travel into Stillwater. That'd be the one that is a little bit off the beaten path.
Okay, one more before we let you go. LSU, Southern Cal. I know you said you may not play it, but in Las Vegas, Sunday night, I think LSU will eventually whip them physically in the second half, in the trenches. How do you see this one?
That sounds a little like an SEC brain talking to me, because you're right. Physically speaking, USC is not going to wow anybody. What I can't get over, though, besides the fact sharp gamblers are all over USC, that number moved down from 6 to 4.5 based on sharp players out of Las Vegas, big bettors, is that I think we're getting an overreaction. Caleb Williams being gone. People have forgotten that Lincoln Riley knows how to coach quarterbacks. He has quarterbacks sprinkled all over the NFL with guys that have been under his tutelage. His starting quarterback this year has performed very, very well every time he's been on the field. LSU, I think we're undervaluing a little bit the loss of their quarterback. Very, very good player. Is going to start immediately in the NFL, and I think that alone creates some value, and so do the sharp players. You're right, physically, if USC can't impose their will offensively with a fun and gun, open it up type score, you better score because we're going to, then almost any SEC and half the Big Ten is going to beat up on USC. I don't suspect that'll happen this early in the year. I think this game goes right down to the wire. I would play USC plus the points.
Are you in Vegas or Oklahoma City?
I'm never in Oklahoma City. I raised my kids there. My mom's there. Other than that, I have an 80-foot yacht in West Palm Beach, Florida. I'm sitting on the back of it right now. This is my last week to do that. I'll be heading to Vegas on Saturday. I'll be there because you can bet in Florida now. It's nice, like Mississippi. We've got sports gambling here. I'm in Florida right now. I'll be in Vegas and California, and then back to Vegas, and then New York next weekend when we talk. So I will be all over, but Oklahoma will never be that this time of year. I'm an empty nester who gambles professionally Oklahoma's a state that doesn't have sports gambling. So they're no good to me right now.
All right. Did you grow up a Sooner or a Cowboy or neither? Or?
When I was little, I sold Cokes at the OU games, went to Norman High School. I signed with Texas Tech out of high school and to play football there, and ended up not going to play. I ended up playing golf in Arkansas, kind of a weird path. But I grew up a Sooner fan as a child, and the minute I started gambling, I'm a fan of whoever I have money on.
Yes, you damn right.
I used to play bunco with Bob Stoops and with Brent Venables and that group when we lived in Norman, and the kids were young in third, fourth, fifth grade. I coached Bob Stoops' kids. I coached Trey Young, and Ray Young coached my son in basketball. He plays for the Hawks now. So was in Norman raising kids and then traveling to Vegas every week when the kids were growing up. Now that they're out, it is go time. Let's get after it. From a gambling perspective, I don't have to travel as much. I can go to more states to make more money betting on sports. So it's been a much, much easier path since the kids got into college and now are in their real lives.
All right, there's some Oklahoma flavor in this state now. Jeff Levy's the new head coach at Mississippi State. Jack.
Absolutely. He absolutely is. He's going to do a great job there. A great offensive mind. And Oklahoma's become one of those spots now, not only for coaches, but for players. We saw the Heisman Trophy front runner use Oklahoma as a stepping stone to get to Oregon. From a coaching standpoint, coaches coming out of that tree are generally speaking, very, very well. Colorado State's head coach, he was at Oklahoma for a while. And there's a number of others that have left and gone on to do great things. So I wish Levy all the best in the world. He's a little after my time. My kids went to Heritage Hall in the city, so I didn't know him when he was there. And frankly, the professional sports gambler hanging out. Jocas de Leon sent Brent Venables and I a letter back when the kids were like third grade, saying you guys can't go to dinner together because even though I know you're not talking about football, the perception is that you're eating dinner with one of the biggest gamblers around. You can't do that. So I don't make a habit of becoming good friends with coaches unless our kids happen to be going to school together.
Love it. All right. We want our listeners to go to fatjacksports.com. You can see all the packages, and we're excited to have Jack Ross, the Fat Jack, on the show this football season. Hey, man, have a great weekend. We'll talk next week, okay?
Bo, happy Labor Day, all right? It's finally here. So you guys enjoy week one. We'll have NFL next week. I'm excited to get going and make some money betting on these games. So have a good week and see you soon.
Let's do it. Thanks, man. FatJackSports.com, Jack Ross on the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line. I think Jackson Meadows is freaking out because he brought a lot of energy. He's fun. And Jackson was already thinking about the games that he was going to bet on this week. I'm actually ahead of Jackson. I've already put money on 3 games. May put money on more, but, because I may want to join Fat Jack on his yacht. It sounds like that's what I may be doing in like October or November in West Palm. I got another buddy, a Mississippi dude who actually owns a place down there. Why am I not down there?
You're not a professional gambler.
I'm not a professional gambler.
What constitutes that? I guess if you
I would say you, but I don't know if that's the case.
Negative. No. Degenerate would be more there.
So I think here's the deal. I bet on Bartu's 3 picks.
Right.
I bet on Vanderbilt. I bet on
that's a good pick.
Stanford. That's tonight. And I bet on Ohio.
Okay.
Now I got to figure out what else I'm gonna do. It sounds like I'm gonna take Fat Jack's advice on the game that he mentioned, the under.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay,
it's good stuff.
But
yeah, I mean,
Miami and Florida. I don't know what to do there. I can't wait tomorrow to see. There's so much riding on that game for Napier. Cristobal is not quite on the hot seat to that extent of Napier, but he is trending that way.
That game could change that.
It could, because yes, you're right. Whoever loses is going to be in a bad spot trying to fight their way out. However, Cristobal doesn't have Napier's schedule, but he's got Napier's talent. It's about a push, I think, on talent. I think people sleep on the fact that Florida has players. I just got a feeling they're going to be a lot better. Now, when I say a lot better, can he get to 6 or 7 wins? If he does, he's going to save his job. They're tired of aspiring coach, and they should. You know, if he can navigate his way through the 3 non-conference are brutal. I don't understand it, but they're going to play Miami, Central Florida, who didn't look good last night, and Florida State, who didn't look good week 1. I mean, this could change on us. Napier could get to 7-5. I mean, Florida State with DJ Uiagalelei, I mean, I don't know what I'm not saying they're bad, and I don't want to just go week 1, here's who you are, but we just watched them play Georgia Tech, and they lost 11 players to the NFL. They're not what they were last year. We like to say, oh, we saw them last year. This is what they're going to be. You know, we'll see what Central Florida, becomes. But, man, if Napier steals this game tomorrow and he gets to 7, he's going to be good. He's going to be good.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they attract players. They've got top 15 talent. It may be on the closer to the 12 to 15, but that's still players. People slept on Graham Mertz.
Yeah.
Cam Ward can play. That could be one hell of a ball game tomorrow. Now, you're going to the beach, and you know it's on 30A.
Yeah, I do know.
Okay.
I do know that. That's
I mean,
about
that's
as good as I
like
can get.
90% of it.
I
You're
know.
going to be in somewhere in the right spot, and then it's just if you can find the house. But, I mean, you can put it in your maps.
yeah,
This is your buddy.
it's easy.
You know?
Key will be somewhere outside if it's even locked. Never locks.
It's not going to be locked.
It's definitely not going to be.
You're
locked.
going to walk in. He's going to have ice cold Stella Artois for you. You're going to grab a Stella, walk outside, take your flip flops off, and the ocean breeze is going to just be right there.
Probably going to be a list of to-do stuff like chores.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got to watch after his dog, man. It's a good dog. Big old golden retriever.
You're-
They like that.
Yeah.
Out there.
Y'all probably be skinny dipping within the first
20
couple of
minutes.
hours.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
come on.
I mean,
It's 30A. Who doesn't skinny dip during the day on 30A? It's
hot
like the
outside.
reunion pool.
That's pretty good.
Right. I mean, you said there's a sandbar
yeah.
that you're swimming out
Hold
to.
on now.
You won't need your swim trunks.
His reunion 30A. It's a 30A
Vibe?
vibe.
Okay.
Vibe.
Okay.
Great fruit drinks down there, man. Pineapple flavored everything. It's great. Love it.
Patron and pineapple for the win.
Yeah,
Everybody have a good
nice
weekend.
one.
Enjoy it. We'll be back on Tuesday. We're going to take Monday off. I've always fought and debated if that's what we should do, but we are. So we'll be back on Tuesday, the first weekend, and we'll recap the weekend. The Dogs, the Rebs, A&M, Notre Dame, Miami and Florida, Georgia, Clemson, and the like. So have a great weekend. Be careful. Enjoy your time in Starkville and Oxford, wherever else you go. Friday Night Lights. Thanks for listening to the Out of Bounds Show on ESPN 105.9 The Zone. I think brought to you by Tito's Vodka Bloody Mary tomorrow morning as we get ready for Clemson and Georgia. Have a great weekend. If you missed anything this week, go to Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Search Out of Bounds.